The fall of the Berlin Wall, an iconic symbol of the Cold War, marked a turning point in world history. This was not just a wall, it was a physical manifestation of the ideological divide that had gripped the world since the end of the Second World War. The Berlin Wall stood as a stark reminder of the division between the democratic West and the communist East, a division that extended far beyond the borders of Germany. This towering concrete barrier, stretching over 100 miles, was more than a mere construction of bricks and mortar. It was a symbol of oppression for those living in the East, while for those in the West, it was a chilling representation of the Cold War's tensions. The division of Germany, and indeed of Europe, was a microcosm of the global ideological divide of the time. This concrete barrier not only divided a city and a country, but it also divided the world into two ideological camps. The road to the fall of the Berlin Wall was paved with political unrest and growing public discontent. The stark economic disparity between East and West Germany was a significant catalyst for the events that unfolded. In the West, they saw economic prosperity and technological advancements that were a world away from the stagnating economy of the East. This economic divide was a stark reminder of the ideological differences between the capitalist West and the communist East, and it was a source of growing dissatisfaction among East Germans. Meanwhile, political unrest was brewing within East Germany. The ruling Socialist Unity Party was losing its grip on power, challenged by an increasingly vocal opposition that was demanding greater freedoms and rights. The people were growing tired of the oppressive regime, and they were starting to speak out, to protest, to challenge the status quo. And then there were the people who were voting with their feet, so to speak. An increasing number of East Germans were fleeing to the West, seeking a better life, escaping from the stifling constraints of life in the East. This mass exodus was a clear indication of the growing disillusionment with the East German regime and the desire for change. The pressure was mounting, change was in the air, and the wall's days were numbered. The 9th of November 1989, a date etched in history, saw the Berlin Wall crumble under the weight of people's desire for freedom. On this momentous day, East German officials, in a press conference that was broadcasted worldwide, announced unexpected travel regulations. These new rules essentially granted East Berliners the right to visit West Berlin and West Germany, effective immediately. This announcement sent shockwaves through the city, and within hours, thousands of East Berliners flocked to the wall. A surge of euphoria swept through the crowd as they began chipping away at the wall with hammers and chisels, a symbolic act that marked the beginning of the end of the wall's oppressive reign. The guards, overwhelmed by the sheer number of people and the intensity of their emotions, stood by and let it happen. The fall of the Berlin Wall was a victory of the human spirit, a triumph of freedom over division. The fall of the Berlin Wall was not just a German affair, it sent ripples across the world. This monumental event was the precursor to a series of significant changes in the global political landscape. In the immediate aftermath, Germany began the arduous process of reunification, merging two distinctly different economies, legal systems, and societal norms. This was no easy feat, yet the desire for unity and a shared identity proved stronger than any challenge. Meanwhile, the fall of the Berlin Wall signaled the beginning of the end for communism in Eastern Europe. As the Iron Curtain was lifted, countries that had been under the Soviet Union's influence started to reclaim their sovereignty, transitioning towards democracy and market-based economies. This period was marked by a wave of revolutions, popularly known as the Autumn of Nations, sweeping across countries like Poland, Hungary, and Czechoslovakia, among others. The geopolitical implications of these events were far-reaching. The balance of power shifted, leading to the end of the Cold War and the beginning of a new international order. The United States emerged as the world's sole superpower, and the ideological divide between East and West started to blur. International relations were reshaped, alliances were redefined, and the world watched as history unfolded in real time. The fall of the Berlin Wall a powerful symbol of the end of the Cold War, forever changed the face of Europe and the world.